Hey there! Today I thought we would have a look at a review that was coming for a long time. And this is it. You know what's in here. It is a Midori traveler's notebook. This is the passport size. This notebook was very kindly provided by Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company. My apologies, Brian, that it took me so long to do this review, but here we go. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Sorry about this background, but the problem is my desk is a little bit much, I think, as to detail. So let's look at this. The Midori is a fascinating notebook because they come in a couple of sizes and different types of paper, and the funny thing is that it's a modular system. So here you have the nice little whatever metal they use to seal that elastic band, and when you open up your notebook, I find it fascinating that this actually comes out the middle. I don't know how well you can see that, but believe me, the elastic band comes out the middle as opposed to the sides or whatever other things other notebook brands use. And what you see here is that this leather cover, it's a nice it's really leathery. What I mean by that is that it doesn't seem to be extremely processed, which means that it'll actually get some nice character when you use it a lot. This was just the, I'm assuming, cotton sheath that the thing came in. And this is the passport size, and it's easy to understand why, because it's very much the size of an actual passport. Alright, Midori. So what have I got in here? Well, I have one of these, Brian supplied me with one of these little, what do you call that, refills, I suppose, that is ruled. So it has lines on there. Then we have one that is completely blank, and then we have one with grid paper. And as you can see, they're all sort of held together by this rubber band-like thing, and you can stuff more of these notebooks in there. Of course, the cover will get beefier and beefier the more you put in, but you could also just put in one if you like. So it's a very modular system. You can have 3 grids, you can have lines, grids, and blank. You can have blanks if you're an artist, whatever. So the fun thing about this system is that you can just experiment and you can put this in. Now, I'm not going to cover how to adjust this system and put all those little modules in. Brian has an excellent video on that, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. So here you go. Now I think what you guys are interested in is what the paper is going to be like. So first of all, a nice thing that I enjoy is that the paper seems to be perforated. I can try to zoom in here. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but I think you can pick it up a little bit. There are perforations there, which means that when you're done, you can just rip out the paper and you know, give it to someone or make your grocery list, etc. So let's do just a bit of writing. Okay, I'm going to start with a fine nib. This is a Diplomat. I read Diplomat, but I meant Diplomat Traveler. This is a fine nib, and the paper has some texture. It is not super smooth. It's definitely not laid paper or anything, but it offers a bit of feedback when you use it. It's not a Rhodia or Clairefontaine smoothness, but I find it actually quite pleasant. Here we have a Scrix Oscar 38 or 39. Well, doesn't matter. Which is a fine 2. That's an interesting nib too, maybe a little bit less smooth than the Travelers. It gives a bit more feedback, but quite pleasant to use. Then we have a medium. I was looking for my medium, sorry. Which is my Monteverde tool pen. Oh, I know I'm going to get questions about that. So this is Mont Blanc Irish Green, as is this, and this is that new Mont Blanc Permanent Grey ink. Okay. Okay. Well, that's the mediums and the fines. Let's move on to the broads. Here we have a Yarda-lead Viceroy Grand. I'm just going to write Viceroy. That is a broad nib, and that is DC Super Show Blue by what are those guys called? Private Reserve, of course. Then here we have the Conid bulk filler, which is a titanium. It is a medium nib, but it has a bit of spring to it. And this is an Akkerman ink. That is Hofkwartier Groen, which is an exclusive ink to Akkerman in The Hague. Alright, final sample I can cram in on this page. This is a Visconti Opera Crystal, and that's a 1.1 millimeter italic. And this ink is one of the Platinum Mix Frees. I forgot what the name is, but it's their pink. So there you have it. That's a pretty wet pen too, so let's do a bit of this. See how well that keeps up on the other side of the page in a second. Now, if we flip this over, you see there is pretty much no bleed through. Maybe the tiniest bit in these splotches that I did, but even there, I would say it's very controlled. You definitely see shade through or show through. That is definitely present. So you can see what is written on the other side of the page, but let's see what we can do here. I have I have a couple more pens lined up. This is the Jumbo pen. You have to prime the feed of this one, but I think for now it's okay. This is Cross Black, and this is a vintage 14K Flex. Quite nice. And if you are wondering, it really is a Jumbo pen. Okay. Mine is bigger than yours. Then we have a Delta Dolce Vita. I'm pretty sure this is Ackerman Trèves Turquoise, this blue. That's a broad nib too. And this is AKA the ink bucket, because writing with this pen is pretty much the same as just taking a bucket of ink and slapping it on the paper. Okay, well then I thought we would also do a ballpoint, because yes, they're the instruments of the devil, but hey, some people use them apparently. Of course it doesn't start up. Bloody ballpoint. So that definitely works too, and that's a pretty nice smooth writing experience, I would say. It's good ballpoint paper. It's definitely not bad for fountain pens either. Give me a sec, okay? Finally, what I would like to do is take a 6mm Pilot Parallel. That's not fair, this is not calligraphy paper. But let's see what it can do, huh? Alright, that's not too shabby, I would say. Now if we turn this page over, because these are the real killers with their super wet ink. This is normal, that was just because that was wet. You definitely see some bleed through for the flex nib, not for the ink bucket, and not even for the 6mm Pilot Parallel. So I have to say, I do find that paper quite impressive. I'm just checking to see whether all of these things are perforated. It seems to be the case. Yeah, that's very cool. Allows you to quickly tear out a page and give it to someone. I find this pretty impressive because the paper feels thin, so I was expecting terrible bleed through. and as you can see, that is not the case. Furthermore, what I love is that modular system. If you want grid and lines, you can get them. If you want only blanks, you only get blank paper, etc. It even has, which is quite cute, a little bookmark, which you can also use to, you know, to find the page you were using. I mean, it's also pretty cool because when you travel, you can actually put your passport in here. It is that size, so that kind of makes your important documents a bit stealthy, which can be good depending on where you are. I think it's a cool notebook. I enjoy it, and it's nice that it has this little sheath, cotton or linen or whatever it is. Quite nice. People are going to point out what it is, I know that. Very cool. So, Brian, thanks a lot for sending me this to play with. I had definitely had some fun with it. Sorry it took me so long, but here we go. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.